Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Garofalo, Russell Wilson needs to show Steelers he deserves starting QB job, won't get it by default. There is just 1 week left in the preseason before the NFL transitions to the start of the regular season, and while teams across the NFL landscape are naming their starting quarterbacks, the Pittsburgh Steelers and head coach Mike Tomlin have not come close to deciding that, at least publicly, just yet. That's due, in large part, to veteran quarterback Russell Wilson and fourth-year signal caller Justin Fields remaining locked in a battle for the job, one that neither has truly grabbed a hold of just yet. For NFL Network insider Mike Garofalo, the starting quarterback job is something that Wilson, who has been the perceived starter since signing with the Steelers as a free agent, needs to show he deserves. Appearing on Tuesday night's Insider's show on NFL Network, Garofalo said that Wilson needs to truly grab a hold of the job because he's not going to win it by default, especially after Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin called Wilson's preseason debut an incomplete study against the Buffalo Bills. When he, Mike Tomlin, calls it an incomplete study, part of that is because Russell Wilson wasn't on the field for the first part of training camp because of that calf injury. So that leads to the incomplete part of it. The other part that leads to the incomplete part is that Russell Wilson hasn't jumped up and really grabbed this job, secured this job, Garofalo said of the Steelers' QB situation, according to video via NFL Network. He was in the quote-unquote pole position. That's what Mike Tomlin said, but he still has to win the job. He was not gonna win it necessarily by default. He's gotta show them that he deserves that job. And Justin Fields, it hasn't been all sunshine along the way, but there's been moments even in training camp, even in meetings where apparently he is showing them a lot and the upside that he could potentially have and the fact that he is embracing coaching and getting stronger with his understanding of what they're trying to do from an offensive standpoint. I thought in the preseason we'd see some more Justin Fields fireworks. We haven't seen that. So that also leads to the, part that Tomlin calls it incomplete. So yeah, it's coming down to the final stretch here when the Steelers signed Russell Wilson to a 1-year, $1.21 million deal as a free agent. Head coach Mike Tomlin stated that the former Super Bowl winning quarterback and potential future Hall of Famer would be in the pole position as the QB1 for the Steelers throughout the offseason. That then rang true in OTAs and mandatory minicamp. Still, once the Steelers reported to training camp, Wilson's calf injury suffered during the conditioning test opened the door for Fields, who seized upon it and made some plays in training camp, impressing many. Tomlin comfortable with backup flexibility behind now starter Zach Frazier. Unfortunate as it was to lose Nate Herbig for the season, the Pittsburgh Steelers made a seamless transition to rookie Zach Frazier. A move that felt inevitable even if Herbig stayed healthy and received the initial nod at center. Finding Frazier's backup could take some more evaluation. Speaking to reporters following Tuesday's practice, Mike Tomlin talked up the options the team has behind Zach Frazier when asked about rookie Mason McCormick's ability to play multiple spots. He's a guy that's versatile, but we've got a lot of guys that are versatile, Tomlin said via a team-provided transcript. Spencer Anderson is versatile as well. He's done some of that in the past, and so we feel really comfortable about our multi-positional flexibility there. Anderson is among the Steelers' most flexible backups. During his first training camp last summer, he played all 5 offensive line spots. In preseason action as a rookie, he logged snaps at everything but left tackle. Pittsburgh asked him to concentrate on guard to begin this camp, but a knee injury to Troy Fautanu opened the door for Anderson to play right tackle, too. He played 15 snaps at right tackle against the Buffalo Bills. Still, Anderson didn't receive any organized work at the center throughout training camp. The only work he saw was helping quarterbacks warm up very early in practice when all 4 quarterbacks, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Kyle Allen, and John Reese Plumlee, would work 1v1 with centers taking snaps. Needing a fourth center, Anderson would often assume that role. But McCormick saw reps there, too. And when Herbig went down late in the final camp practice, McCormick logged a handful of reps during the last 11-on-11 period. A guard throughout college, Pittsburgh showed interest in him as a center before landing Zach Frazier 2 rounds earlier in April's draft. With Herbig on IR and the Steelers likely keeping 9 offensive linemen, Anderson should easily make the 53. His versatility makes him more valuable than ever. McCormick is a lock to make it, his 4th-round status already giving him high odds to stick and his strong summer cementing it. Roster cutdowns could hint if the rarely seeking comfort Tomlin is truly content with either of those options, or if the team will consider another name like veteran Ryan McCullum or an outside free agent to back up Zach Frazier. Former GM Michael Lombardi suggests Steelers make phone call to QB Ryan Tannehil. He knows Arthur's offense. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Ryan Tannehil? That's what former NFL general manager Michael Lombardi floated during a Tuesday appearance on the Pat McAfee Show. The Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line put up a disastrous performance against the Buffalo Bills in Week 2 of the preseason. OT Broderick Jones looked like a shell of himself, and 2 or 3 linemen were getting beat consistently in pass protection, leading to 3 first-quarter Russell Wilson sacks. The O-line was expected to build on their momentum from a strong finish in the 2023 season, so it's a bit alarming to see them get dismantled against a starting defense, even if it's only a preseason game in August. To make matters worse, Wilson and Fields haven't looked sharp this preseason, as both quarterbacks have yet to produce a single touchdown scoring drive. Those factors led Lombardi to float Tannehill's name as a last-second replacement. With the line being as bad as it was, is Ryan Tannehill sitting out there on the street? Do you make that phone call? Said Lombardi on McAfee's show. Do you make the phone call to Ryan Tannehill? He knows Arthur's offense. The rookie first-round pick from last year, Broderick Jones, just got pushed right back. Nobody can play quarterback in that situation. Adding Ryan Tannehill to the equation would not provide the solution to the Steelers' current problems on offense. While Tannehill's best years were under Arthur Smith's tutelage in Tennessee, the 36-year-old quarterback does not look anything like the 33-touchdown, 7-interception machine he was in 2020. Similar to Russell Wilson, Tannehill doesn't have the mobility he once leaned on, which means he would be dealing with the same sack problems as Wilson if the offensive line continues to collapse in pass protection. If these problems continue into the regular season, then Mike Tomlin could turn to Justin Fields as the weapon who gives them the best chance to make plays despite poor offensive line play. Fields demonstrated his ability to scramble and create positive plays amidst chaos against the Bills on Saturday, highlighted by a 20-yard scramble to set up a first-half field goal and this remarkable sack evasion leading to a first-down throw on the run to Wr. Des Fitzpatrick. Fields took lots of sacks when he started for the Chicago Bears, but he was also one of the best scramblers in the league, turning would-be sacks into big first downs and occasional breakaway touchdown runs. Tannehill can't do that, and he's taking sacks at a much higher rate in recent years, 32 of them in just 10 games played in 2023. Rumors of Ryan Tannehill potentially joining the Steelers circulated this offseason after Arthur Smith was named the offensive coordinator, back when Kenny Pickett was still on the team. When the team traded Pickett and acquired 2 higher-profile quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, Tannehill's name stopped coming up. More than anything, Lombardi is perhaps trying to point out that it doesn't matter who's throwing the football when they're being hammered by the pass rush on every drop back. The Steelers hoped that offensive line would be a positional strength this season, as Tomlin and Arthur Smith want to pound opponents with the run in order to set up Wilson or Fields with easier passing situations. If the line doesn't improve quickly, it will be difficult to evaluate Wilson and Fields, and even more difficult to gauge Arthur Smith's abilities as a play caller for the Steelers. Worst of all, this offense will continue to struggle. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Ryan Tannehill? Leave your opinion in the comments.